In this video, I'm going to show you how to set up your credit card processors so that you can start accepting credit card payments on your website. Every AllProWebTools user gets free website hosting, and as a part of that hosting, you can set up your own web store if you have the e-commerce web tool. To add the web tool, all you need to do is go to Settings and then Web Tools. Go up and click the available Web Tools button, and then scroll down until you find the Commerce. Now you can go over and click Add. And now you have the Commerce Web Tool installed. Now that I have the e-commerce web tool, I can start setting up my web store. Part of that, I need to integrate with a credit card processor. So to integrate, I'm going to go to Settings and then Integrations. This will bring up a list of all of the third-party solutions that you can integrate with your AllProWebTools account. This includes several credit card processors, including Authorize Net, Cayenne, PayPal, Square, and Stripe. If you have an account with any of these credit card processors, simply find the account you would like to integrate and then click on the Integrate with AllProWebTools button. I've already clicked on this Integrate button, so I'm just going to open up the tab I already have open for the Authorize Net integration. When I open up this page, you should notice two things. There is an area in the left here to set up your Authorize Net settings, and an area to the right here with setup instructions on where to find those settings and how to fill them in. So if you want to integrate with Authorize Net, you simply follow the instructions in this panel to fill out the settings in this panel. And then when you're all finished, click the Save button. If we go to another integration, for example, the Stripe integration, we'll find the same thing. A panel on the left to fill out your settings, and a panel on the right with setup instructions telling you how to fill out those settings. So now if I go to my PayPal integrations page, we'll see a similar thing, but a little bit different. If you want to integrate with PayPal, you actually have one of two options. You can integrate with PayPal Standard or PayPal Pro. The primary difference being with PayPal Pro, customers can pay with credit cards on your website, whereas with PayPal Standard, customers will have to go to the PayPal website to finish checking out. For more information on the difference between the Standard and Pro PayPal accounts, we recommend checking on the PayPal website. But once you can separate the two accounts, the format is the same. There's a box to fill out your PayPal Standard settings, and a box with setup instructions for filling out those standard settings. There's a box for your PayPal Pro settings, and a box with setup instructions for setting up your PayPal Pro. Now if I go to my Square integrations page, you'll see this is a little bit different. Instead of having any settings that I have to type in, instead all I have to do is click the Square setup button. It will ask me to sign into my Square account, and then finish connecting my Square account and my AllProWebTools account. Once my account is connected, I will have to come back to this area and select the location I would like my Square transactions to be processed through. Your locations will have to be set up inside your Square account. And if you have more questions about these locations, we recommend checking on the Square website. Lastly, let's look at the Cayenne integrations page. This page is set up much like the rest, with an area for your settings and an area of setup instructions for how to fill out those settings. The primary difference here is that the setup instructions are as simple as emailing your Cayenne representative so that they can email you back with the credentials you need to fill in your Cayenne settings. At the time of this video, Cayenne is the credit card processor we recommend our users to set up with. And if you do not have a Cayenne account, you can click this Need an Account button to be taken to a form to fill out to get you in touch with a Cayenne representative. So whatever credit card processor you choose to set up, once you follow the setup instructions and filled in the credit card processor settings, make sure to hit the Save button. And now that your settings are saved, the next step is to activate your processor. If you noticed, every single processor has a status at the top of their settings. If I click on the status dropdown, I have three options: Inactive, Test Mode, and Active. Inactive will prevent this processor from processing any transactions at all. Test mode will allow transactions to be processed, but they will be marked as test transactions, and this means money will not actually be moved from any accounts. In active mode will allow the credit card processor to fully process those credit card transactions and actually transfer the money. When you are about to put your website live, your credit card processors must be set to active, or else you will not actually collect any money. We also strongly recommend you test your credit card processors while they are set to active to make sure that you can actually process a live credit card transaction. So since my website is about to go live, I'm going to go ahead and choose Active, and then once again make sure my settings are saved. So now that I've activated my credit card processor, I need to set my payment methods. I can do this under Settings and Payment Methods. On this screen, I have three areas. One to set what credit card processor I want to use, an area to set what credit cards I want to accept and which logos to display on my website, and if I'm integrated with PayPal Standard, I have an area to turn this PayPal Standard on or off. Let's look at PayPal Standard for a second. Since I am integrated with PayPal Standard and I have PayPal Standard set to active, I have the option to turn this on or off on my website. If I turn it on, this means visitors to my website will have the option to pay with PayPal Standard. But now let's go back to the credit card settings. I'm going to click on this first button, Set Primary Processor. I'm given a drop-down choice of all the credit card processors I'm integrated with. So if I click this drop-down, you'll see my options are not set, which means I'm not using a credit card processor. Authorize.net, however, it's in test mode, so I won't actually be able to accept any credit card funds. Or Cayenne. I'm going to go ahead and select Cayenne and hit Save. Now because I've integrated two different credit card processors, I actually have the option to set a secondary processor. If I click on this, you'll see it gives me a drop-down list with all the remaining processors as options. Unless you have a very special and specific reason why you need to process credit card transactions with a secondary processor, I would not set this. So I'm going to leave it as not set and hit Cancel. Lastly, let's check these advanced settings. Under Advanced Settings, I can choose which processor I'm going to use under certain situations. So for example, if I'm selling wholesale, you'll see I have the option to use no credit card processor or use my primary processor. And if I had it set, I would also have the option to use my secondary processor. Again, unless you have a very special and specific reason to have to use a secondary processor, I would not change these settings and I would leave them all set to primary processor. So I'm going to do exactly that and click Cancel. So now that I've set up my credit card processor, I've entered and saved the settings, I've activated the processor, and I've set my payment method. I'm going to go back to my dashboard. I have an abandoned cart in my dashboard, but now that I've set up a credit card processor, I can actually finish this order. So I'm going to click on this abandoned cart, and I'm going to complete and create this order real quick. Now that the order is created, I can go ahead and click on Pay Order. And because I've integrated with my credit card processors, I have the option to pay with credit card. You'll notice I can enter a new card using Cayenne, the processor I just set up, and I can fill in my credit card information and finish processing this payment.